I thought it would be helpful to do a Katie Hopkins 5-minute explainer on what I believe Trump is doing with the economy, with the market, and with his tariffs. And I'm struck by the obvious fact that no one seems to be willing to present this argument because they're so busy just shouting about Trump, because the fashionable view for the BBC or the Guardian or mainstream media is Trump's deranged, orange man deranged. And so no one will actually have a considered view about maybe there's some fundamental strategy going along. So I thought I'd try and share it here. I've also had pushback, as you would imagine, just generally because I'm opening my mouth, but also someone saying, oh, PhD in economics now, is it? Is that what you've got now? Well, no, I didn't say that either. I do have a degree in economics. I consider all degrees and actually much of academia to be about as much use as a penis-flavoured lollipop. So we'll park that. Anybody that wants to wave their certificates around, do feel free. You've got a better explanation, you go for it, darlings, or maybe just, go and listen to someone else. So here's what I think is happening. You'll notice tariffs up, tariffs down. As an example, Trump said he was going to put 25% on aluminum, steel and aluminium coming out of the EU. In retaliation, the EU said that they were going to put 50% on American whiskey. And now Trump is saying, right, all right then, Ursula von der Leyen, we're going to put 200% on wines and spirits. I mean, for someone like Diageo, who sells most of their portfolio over in America, that is disastrous news right there. They're like, no, let's not play this game anymore. But anyway, you'll see this tit for tat and all of these different tariffs in all of these different countries. And so far, you're just being told, oh, Trump's a maniac. Of course he's not a maniac. Of course he's doing something really, really smart. Let me just try and explain in the best way that I can. I believe that Trump's plan is to crash the stock market, to pull down the stock market by about 20%. If he does this and manages to achieve this, you're seeing the fall. Always keep your eye on the graph. Make sure it starts at 0. Otherwise, that fall is actually being presented to you as a much bigger fall than it actually is. But regardless, I believe he's going to pull down the stock market by about 20%. This will mean that investors kind of push their money away from the market. They pull it from the market and they push it to the Treasury because they want to have things like bonds that have a lesser return but a greater deal of certainty. So it will be a kind of flight to the Treasuries. As a result of that, the Fed should slash interest rates. This is the bit that's interesting. If the Fed slashes interest rates, Trump can renegotiate and refinance the American debt, which is currently on track to bankrupt America because it is unsustainable. Joe Biden left the country bankrupt. If Trump can renegotiate the amount of interest that has to be paid on the trillions of debt that America has, then he can start to stabilize the American economy. There should also be, as a result of this, a deflationary pressure, and that will reduce costs of goods. So it will reduce the price of things for ordinary Americans. So there will be an immediate benefit to ordinary Americans. Let us remember as well, when you're talking about the markets, crashing the markets, 94% of all stocks and shares are owned by only 8% of Americans. So if Trump can push a flight to the Treasuries, he can get interest down, he can renegotiate the debt deal, and there's deflation. Ordinary people who don't have any stocks and shares, who don't have any play in the market, will find that their goods get cheaper. Now, second thing, the tariffs, up, down, up, down. That's designed to push volatility. Volatility is necessary if you want to try and take 20% out of the markets. The markets hate volatility. They hate it. It's like bug spray for flies. They'll run away. That's exactly what I believe Trump is trying to do. Here's the other great thing about tariffs that's very direct, is that businesses like Diageo, for example, would need to relocate over to the US in order to avoid punitive tariffs, more people coming over to the US to produce. Made in the USA will make a lot more sense to everyone, and also farmers. American farmers aren't going to want to export so much of their goods because of the punitive tariff system. Those goods will stay in America, go direct to the consumer, American consumers, and therefore be far cheaper. So again, another direct benefit of what Trump is trying to do. So two sides, a market-based argument, a tariff-based argument, both working together to try and refinance the national debt in order to make it so that things become cheaper for people, not only because of deflation, but because American farmers and producers will be producing directly for the American people. But also this tariff volatility is a deliberate thing in order to push the volatility into the markets to achieve this renegotiation on debt. That all sounds like a lot, and you might think, oh, not for me, that one. But if you just listen to that kind of slowly, and I don't mean this in a patronizing way at all, it actually makes perfect sense. And my frustration is that there isn't other people out there trying to explain this in a common sense manner that shows that Trump, as ever, knows the art of the deal.